What's up guys, Vinny here, bringing you my new series where I'll be doing a let's play on the game Gran Turismo 5. Now, I've already finished the game Gran Turismo 5 on my other account, but I figure I'd start fresh on this account for you guys. Now, when you first sign in, due to the new 2.02 I think update is, you get a couple of things like a car and car wash coupon, oil change coupon, and the car that you get is a 86 GT. Now I figured I'd use that car instead of spending money on a new car. I just use this one and use the money that you get, the 20,000, to upgrade the car, tune it. There it is, the 86 GT, 2012. I got it in gray. Now there's like about 1,000 messages at the beginning that you receive, but after that you're pretty much free. Now the first step that I take is go into the tuning shop and get new tires, because tires are probably the best thing that you can get for your money, performance wise. So I decided to go for the sports soft for $8,000. $8,000. No, I don't have enough money for suspension or transmission or anything, so I decided to just go for the mods that are cheap but will get you a lot of horsepower. Like the ECU tuning is $1,000, but you still get about 10 horsepower, which is quite a lot for 1,000. Now this is probably, apart from oil change, which you do get horsepower, the pod filter or air filter or whatever is probably the most horsepower you could get out of your money, because it's $450 and you get quite a lot of horsepower out of it. Now I buy the titanium racing exhaust, which is $10,000. Alright, now the first thing I do is go into A-Spec, which at the beginning, the only thing that's unlocked is the beginner series and the Sunday Cup, or the FF challenge. But the first thing I do is the Sunday Cup. In the Sunday Cup there's 3 races. The first one on the Autumn Ring, the second one on Grand Valley, and the third one on Suba Circuit. Now with this car I find that it's kind of overpowered for this class of cars that you're going up against, and you'll be able to win very easily. Now this is just my settings of what I like to have. I like to put on manual with all assists off, but if you're new to the game and you don't know how the game engine works, it's up to you if you want to keep the assist on. I just prefer it without, because I find that with traction control or skid recovery force, you could do a lot better with your hands if you've been playing for a while without the actual computer doing it for you. Alright. Now, as you'll see, this car is possibly a little too overpowered for this race, but it'll guarantee you a for sure win, so it's fine with me. If you want, you could just buy a Honda Civic or something if you don't like to use overpowered cars. Now, as you can see, it's been 15 seconds and I'm in first place. I passed, what was it, 4 or 5 people, I'm not sure. That's just how overpowered it is, and as you can see, I don't really like to race with the background music. I prefer to have the sound of the engine roaring instead of the jazz music they have on, but that's just my preference again. Now, as you can see, buying these sports soft tires will help a lot in your it will increase traction a tremendous amount. And as you can see, I'm cornering pretty fast, which I don't think you could do with comfort tires. Or so that buying tires, if you have low money, buying tires is probably the best thing you could do to get traction and better lap time. And also, to get a better lap time, there's a rule. It's called slow in, fast out, which is basically pretty much self-explanatory. You go slow into the corner and you go fast out. Although this isn't the track to use that technique, because apart from this corner, the rest of the corners are pretty much high speed, like those little three apex corners. But yeah. Now overall this game is pretty easy. You shouldn't be like stuck in any place, or at least I wasn't when I first did this game. Sometimes you will spin out in the beginning, or just because you're getting used to the game. That's normal, but it shouldn't bring you too much of a challenge. And there you go, first place with a huge lead. I get $4,500, which is not a lot considering that on my other account I have 15 million, but that's alright in the beginning. It'll buy you some cheap mods. The second race is at Grand Valley Super Speedway, or Speedway, whatever. Grand Valley East, which is the shorter version, because there's two versions of that track. There's a long version, which I prefer to drift on, and then there's this one that has more straightaways and less curves. And here I'm just making sure that all of the assists are off. That's just how much I hate them. And I was at the this drugstore the other day, and I realized how cheap this game is nowadays. I mean, I saw it for $15, brand new in the box, everything, $15. That's kind of sad considering I paid it $60 plus the pre-order, but yeah, that's insanely cheap for a game that is still pretty popular, although it's not as popular as it was back in the day when it first came out. Now you can see just exactly how much overpowered this car is. It's just insane, and the level of traction is surprisingly high for a beginner car. I think it's got about stock. I think it has 190 horsepower about, which is pretty good for a beginning car. And I think Honda Civics are like 180 horsepower stock. But yeah, and you realize that in these low horsepower cars, just a 10 horsepower difference will give you a huge advantage. And most of the AI have comfort tires, so that makes it a lot easier for me too. I'm kind of new to this whole commentating thing. That's why there might be these long pauses where I don't really know what to say. And yeah, I find it kind of awkward. Like at first, it's just me talking into a microphone, so alone, which is kind of weird at first, but I don't know, you kind of get used to it, and I think I started to picture myself actually talking to somebody after a while, and it kind of becomes less awkward. But at first it kind of is awkward, because yeah, like I said, you're just talking to yourself alone into a microphone, and sometimes I don't really know what to say, then I feel like that's even more awkward. But yeah, so the third race is on the Tsukuba track, or however you pronounce it, Tsuba or Tsukuba. And this is actually one of my favorite tracks to drift on. That one and Suzuka. But yeah, that's irrelevant in this Let's Play. So at first the game might seem a little boring. You're using low power cars. You don't really have enough money to buy tuning or exterior mods, but it is kind of fun to restart from scratch. And because on my other account I have like $15 million and almost 100% completion, so that could become kind of boring, just going online and just drifting the track over and over. So I feel like even if you did finish, sometimes doing a fresh start in a game is always fun, to be different and have a fresh start. And now you're starting the game and you know what you're doing, which is, because when I first started the game, I had no idea what I was doing. Like, I played Gran Turismo 3 when I was a kid, but I don't know, that I wasn't really into it. Like, I just played it for fun. But now I feel like I'm much older now, and I want to actually get into it and learn how to tune cars and stuff, and to actually enjoy it. And doing a fresh start, now you know you're starting and you know everything about the game, so that's kind of fun. Yep. And once again, this car is extremely overpowered. Like, you don't even understand how easy this is. It's actually kind of boring, just sitting here with a lead with nobody to challenge you. That's one thing that I kind of hope that they put in Gran Turismo 6, that they put more challenging AI, because even if you do use a underpowered car, it's still extremely easy and you could pull off a lead in no time. So that's one thing that I kind of hope that they put. And another thing I hope that they put car customization in GT6, because this game is boring. You could pretty much go into any lobby and have the same car, someone have the same car as yours, and I find that that's kind of boring, and I wish I could put my own twist to cars, like how I would like them to look. But I hope that's something that they work on. And yeah, they actually released the trailer for Gran Turismo 6 and some gameplay, which looks pretty cool. It has pretty high definition graphics, and that's pretty cool. So this puts an end to the Sunday Cup Championship and the Tsukuba track. And I see I have quite a bit of money now. I think I have, what, 11,000, which is pretty good for a beginning. Actually, I have 13,000, but yeah, that's pretty good for beginning, knowing that you only did 3 races and now you could almost afford suspension, which would be not a very good purchase to buy. But anyways, so I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a thumbs up so I know that you actually enjoyed this, and stay tuned for more, as I'll be uploading these regularly. Thanks.